In the wild, tangled wetlands of southern Florida, officers from the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission patrol the Everglades on airboats almost every day. Their job is simple: protect one of the most unique ecosystems on Earth. But on one sweltering morning, a sharp-eyed officer spotted something that froze him in place. Just below the tea-colored water was a curved, metallic shape. At first glance, it looked like a log, maybe even a half-sunken boat. But the outline was wrong, too smooth, too deliberate. It was no natural formation. Backup was called in. Soon, state and federal agents crowded the site. A specialized team arrived with winches and cranes. Slowly, the dark hole was raised from the swamp. What emerged looked like something out of a nightmare. A crude, hand-built submarine. This was no relic, no experiment. It was a weapon. In a shadow war that stretches from the jungles of South America to the very heart of the United States. A war most people never see, and this submarine was only the beginning. To understand why a submarine could appear in a swamp, you need to understand the Florida Everglades. It isn't just a swamp. It's a vast, slow-moving river of grass stretching for thousands of square miles. Sawgrass marshes, cypress domes, and mangrove tunnels form a labyrinth that has sheltered outlaws for centuries. During Prohibition, bootleggers ran liquor through these hidden waterways. In the 1980s, when the cocaine boom hit Miami, smugglers used the same channels with high-speed boats to slip past the Coast Guard. The Everglades became a smuggler's playground, an environment too complex to fully patrol, perfect for anyone looking to disappear. But as American law enforcement hardened, as radar systems grew sharper and air patrols faster, traffickers needed a new trick. They needed to vanish not just into the swamp, but beneath the waves themselves.
In the remote jungles of Colombia during the 1990s, something extraordinary began. Cartel engineers, guided by ex-Navy specialists and fueled by cartel millions, started building their own private fleet. At first, they created low-profile vessels, LPVs. These aren't true submarines, but semi-submersibles made of fiberglass, long and narrow, with only a small cockpit and exhaust visible above the water. Painted ocean blue or storm gray, they melt into the sea's surface. From the air or radar, they are almost invisible. But as enforcement adapted, so did the cartels. Soon, investigators began intercepting something far more advanced: fully submersible submarines. These weren't stolen military craft. They were hand-built in secret jungle shipyards. Each one was crude, claustrophobic, and terrifying. Barely enough space for 2 or 3 men. Engines coughing toxic diesel fumes. Weeks-long journeys with little food or fresh air. Crew members were ordered to scuttle the craft, sink it deliberately, if capture seemed likely. And yet, for the cartels, they were perfect. A floating steel ghost. A million-dollar gamble that, if successful, delivered tons of cocaine past some of the most advanced navies in the world. The men who pilot these narco subs aren't high-ranking cartel bosses. They're expendable, often poor fishermen or mechanics from coastal villages, tempted with the promise of a life-changing payday. Sometimes $50,000, sometimes $100,000 for a single trip. More money than they'd see in a lifetime. But the risk is astronomical. If intercepted, they face decades in U.S. prisons. If the vessel fails, there is almost no chance of escape. The hatch is sealed. The walls are steel. A malfunction turns the sub into a coffin within minutes. The cartels know this. They don't care. For every sub lost, they build another. For every crew drowned, another desperate man takes the job. It's a brutal cycle, a war fought with disposable lives. Back in Florida, the Everglades vessel told a grim story. The hull was battered, cracked on one side. Investigators believed the engine had failed, or the snorkel system had taken on water. With the hatch sealed, the cabin likely flooded quickly. The men inside would have had only moments. When officers pried open the hatch, a wave of foul, stagnant air rushed out. Diesel fumes mixed with decay. Inside, the cramped cabin was partially flooded. Flashlights cut through the black water and illuminated the skeletal remains of 2 men, still slumped over the controls.
Packed around them were dozens of tightly wrapped, waterproof packages. Lab tests confirmed what everyone suspected: cocaine. Hundreds of pounds of it. This wasn't just a wreck. It was evidence. Evidence of the lengths cartels will go to, the dangers endured by the crews, and the silent war playing out just beneath the surface. Every year, the U.S. Coast Guard and DEA intercept only a fraction of narco subs. For every one seized, several more slip through. Each successful journey delivers cargo worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Crews are given rudimentary GPS coordinates and little else. No backup, no second chances. If they succeed, they disappear into the shadows with their payday. If they fail, they vanish forever, either into the ocean depths or a prison cell. For law enforcement, each captured sub is a treasure trove. Analysts dismantle them piece by piece, mapping innovations, weaknesses, and new construction techniques. It's an endless chess match. Smugglers innovate, authorities adapt, and the cycle repeats. What makes narco subs so chilling isn't just the technology. It's the human cost. Cartel bosses never set foot in these vessels. They risk nothing. The men who do, the fishermen, the villagers, risk everything. Most families never even know the fate of their sons. They vanish without explanation, swallowed by the sea. Each sub is built to be expendable. Each crew is disposable. The cartel doesn't mourn them. The only loss that matters is the cargo. And so the ghost fleet grows. One vessel after another lost or captured, while others slip silently toward their destinations. The Everglades submarine, like so many before it, was eventually dismantled in a secure facility. Analysts pored over its crude design, logging every weld and every weakness. The cargo was destroyed, the remains of the crew buried in unmarked graves, and the swamp returned to silence. Cypress trees stood tall. Egrets skimmed the water. Tourists passed through on airboats, unaware of the secret that had surfaced there. But for a brief moment, the wilderness had given up one of its darkest secrets: a rusted coffin from a hidden war. A war most of us never see, fought not with armies, but with shadows, machines, and disposable men. Today, narco subs remain one of the most elusive weapons in the cartel arsenal. Every year, more are built in hidden jungle shipyards. Every year, more slip across the ocean undetected. The war continues, silent, invisible, and deadly. A war of steel ghosts gliding beneath the waves. And somewhere tonight, a small crew of desperate men sits crammed into a fiberglass hull, engines rumbling, hearts pounding, steering their metal coffin into the darkness, hoping, against impossible odds, that they'll live long enough to see land again.